seeing out of GenG, where we have that Sage on the table. They quickly push onto B. They're looking to lock out the A side, and they can play towards the other, but it looks like the angle hold isn't going to be that solid as Drone comes in and drops a 3K with the Ghost.
Wardell also getting a kill there at the end. He had one with the shorty on the swing earlier as well. So as they wait for the incendiary on the ground there to fade away, they will get this defuse, and this is going to be a first round going over to TSM. The play now appears to be Garage as they enter in this close quarters, but Subroza with the SMG is going to make short work of MkaeL. And Subroza also takes out another, make that 3-4. Really popping off before Hazed finishes it off, and again, easy because of the arms differential there, but...
Explosive smokes to go down for and execute, and we'll see how that pans out for them, as they'll likely have to utilize it here.
So this is the push into A, but Wardell with a double before being answered by player one here, and that's still gonna hopefully buy enough time for the rest of TSM to rotate over. Cutler there taking out GMD. The spike is planted, but there's still a numbers advantage in favor of TSM, even after MkaeL picks off Drone, but he does find Subroza as well, and now we have a 2v2. Hazed uses that Spectre to take down player one, and they're going to be advancing on Cutler with the pick, and this will be another defuse.
Exactly where he needs to be to find those opening picks, and it looks like GenG's going to be pushing headlong into him here. And Drone picks up the 3K, spraying down. GenG just not being able to find any way to take a little bit of ground back. We're obviously looking at a 4-0 scoreline right now. GenG really having trouble finding momentum. And moments like that, where Wardell has a point-blank right-click and just can't seem to connect with it, GenG will take all of those that they can get.
And effys backed up, got the res, and then also got a pick. I thought it was looking their favor, but Hazed with the double almost got a clutch here. Effys with the 3K at the end, punishing him, and so GenG does take their first round.
More favorable a situation, although the clock's rapidly ticking down. huynh popping off, but Subroza answers with the 2 spray, 4K on the round. Yesterday, we saw an 8-round offensive side from GenG, and they haven't picked up more than a single one thus far. What's changed? You see such a dramatic swing in their level of success one day to the next, and it's just so perplexing.
And this is, again, Wardell with a triple kill, 2 kills with that operator, then picks one up with the classic to clean things up. And you ask what changed? Well, it's been a 24 hours, right? So TSM has had a chance to think about what went wrong potentially or what they needed to clean up. And then, as I said before, I honestly think TSM is hungry. They do not feel good about that loss they just gave away to Sentinels.
But it's something that they need at this point.
You can see Wardell here looking for the pick, does find it. The Phoenix wall let him know that somebody was home, and he just needed to find him. With the flick coming back, finds another pick on player one. That's 3, picking up one against huynh as well. Excuse me, huynh. I keep mispronouncing that because I have my horrible American Midwest accent. I apologize. It's not any disrespect to you, sir, but Wardell evened this out. Despite the early first blood, brought TSM back into this. GM does finally pick off Wardell, and now we're on a 2v2. So yeah, I really think that TSM is feeling it, and they want to get back. This is a great pickup by Cutler, but it's answered back by GMD, who finishes Cutler off.
And even looking at that, or at this match rather, so much as they're looking at the next and see this as a formality that they just need to rush through, and rushing through it is exactly what they're doing.
And this is going to be another win for TSM as they extend this lead. And we're going into the last round before the swap map there with an operator. This is going to be kind of heartbreaking, where every time you peek an angle, there's an op shot. And Wardell says, hey, there's one over here in the garage. Don't come in this direction. And things are falling apart for GenG right now.
This is when we get the hashtag op abusers in the chat, something along those lines. TSM making use of their resources in a dramatic fashion, knowing that they just have an absurd economic advantage, toying with GenG a bit here, and that'll force them to a 9-3 half.
They want to take one of these side sites, and they're going to take this kind of 5-man flanking rush onto site A. And Wardell does find a kill with the shorty. Subroza also picking up effys, and so this is going to be an easy plant for them. And now it's a 3v5 retake scenario. Again, not looking great for GenG.
An absolutely absurd rotational play. I know I'm a nerd here, and not a lot of people are going to appreciate that, but TSM really just walked up mid, didn't force a plant B despite the fact they had full site control, instead fast flanked through connector and take heaven? I mean, come on, this is the kind of reason why GenG can't find success on defense on this.
By the building, that does sometimes happen on Sage, but Subroza here, the minute that the wall goes down, he curveballs, enters, he gets a kill. Hazed looked to the other direction, got a kill as well, and again, easy entry. This will be a plant, numbers advantage. You have to assume this is yet another win for TSM.
Little recommit that we've seen out of TSM now more than a few rounds in a row.
Oh, you ain't coming back.
Subroza here does get this pick, but again, this is ultimately still going to be TSM taking it to match point. So this is 12-3. This is going lightning fast. Similarly, GenG kind of rotating to maybe catch a flank. We see the Sage coming up the backside of A. Drone enters and finds a frag. Cutler gets a kill as well. Drone with a second. And this is going to be a spike plant. And a tale as old as time. It's a numbers advantage in favor of TSM in these post-plant positions. Cutler here lying in wait. Wardell covering the other side, so entry is just not going to be allowed from effys, and this is it. TSM 13-3 against GenG.
Let's pop up that scoreboard, have a look at how fraggers did today, and well, Wardell, there he is.
In order to throw a wrench into that.
I like this catwalk push, but Drone gets an early pick here on MkaeL, so that's going to slow things down for them. He swings and finds another one before getting the counter. Player one there with a pair of frags as well, and after all is said and done with that flurry of action, we're staring at a 2v2. Make that a 2v1 as Hazed finds player one, and this is going to be a defense in favor of TSM. A 2v1, and he has to plant, which is going to leave him vulnerable, and we'll see if he can pull this off. He's going to plant behind the box. Gives him a little bit of cover, but he has to win both these peaks.
And he won't win either of them as he's just flanked outright by Cutler here.
You can get behind that statement, except for when you're going to be funneling into A, you got to get close to use these weapons, and the AR power here is that you can just do this, right? You're seeing him pick them off at a distance. Subroza there with an easy 3K. Even with the jet diving forward, it's just not enough.
Cleared, and the Omen all comes across, so they likely were caught.
Yeah, the Sage is boosted and was trying to get Wardell there, but instead Wardell finds that pick on MkaeL and also re-peeks to find effys on the Sage wall. And that is disaster for GenG. Any hope they had of pushing in is basically out the window with that double by Wardell.
That flick from Wardell was so disgusting, it gave me whiplash. My goodness. You can't take peaks like that and lose them. It's absurd, the type of power that he brings to this roster. GenG taking the same outright aggression, that same forceful play that TSM has been bringing non-stop.
We see a flurry of kills once again going to the side of TSM here, and with Hazed picking off effys, it's down to one player left on the side of GenG who's not even at full health. You've got the spike, you've got a dream, but now you've got nothing. Subroza finds them.
Get out of my way!
For the res, they've at least got it back to a 5v5. They are going to be trying to push in, but Drone with a double helps to stall things a bit. After the trade, it's still going to be a 3v3, but effys there lost their armor, had to use the heal, so the Sage heal is now on cooldown. Wardell answers with another pick on the Sage, and we have some players camping the spike down here in Hell. That gives them a little bit of an advantage for now, but as they get to take these peaks here, well, player one is actually going to pop off a little bit and make this a contest, and then Hazed ends it. Gonna hold the angle instead, and Wardell punishes them. Subroza gets another kill as well, and this This is likely going to be an 8-0 start. There it is, flawless.
Them look bad right now. There's no two ways about it. Yesterday we saw relatively close games between these two across both maps, and it's just completely disappeared.
And that right there is exactly what I was talking about earlier, where every time it feels like, hey, effys finds Cutler, and this is going to be a round win for GenG.
V5, like almost this entire match.
Wardell punishing them for trying to push in through site B, but MkaeL here answers, gets a double. The Cypher ult is going to let them know where the remaining members of TSM are, and this is the first time in a long time we've seen a numbers advantage in favor of GenG.
That we switch sides and see a similar performance out of them. I don't want to act like it's completely over, but it's definitely dire straits.
And effys found Subroza creeping. Drone did his best.
Of utility that isn't utilized by everyone, and it makes B a far easier plant than it otherwise would be. And so to see them finally leaning on that is great. That shows that they're finally playing to their tools.
It also means that they are trying to, in many ways, punish the predictability of TSM. They knew that they had a strong A hold, and Hazed and Drone here winning their firefights, popping off a bit, and so going to be up to win, but Wardell denies it. So 9-3 is the differential here at the half. That gives them some intel that it's safe to push forward a little bit, and Drone catches huynh lurking before MkaeL gets the counter frag, but that means a strong push into site A is on the agenda. Player one with a pair before Wardell punishes him. We're down to this 2v2, a lot of firing through the smoke, a lot of utility out. Plant now starting to go down. It looks like the opposing side of GenG is gonna both enter from the heaven side. See if they can catch anybody looking at the wrong angle.
3.
Wardell dashing to the other side of this box. Not gonna peek it quite yet. I think he's just trying to make some noise really at this point because of the only 47 health. You have to be very precise with this. Yeah, gets punished by effys, but not a lot of time left for this to fuse. Does get it though.
effys.
Oh, it's not enough time. It's gonna go off before the defuse is there. You've got to be at roughly 40% before the fast tick starts, and so ultimately this is a TSM victory despite the fact that effys got that final kill. And GenG knows it as everybody's rotating over here on the map. This is a great flash, but GMD still gets a trade on Subroza. But ultimately, it's going to be TSM coming up huge here. Wardell with a pair of picks, Hazed with a headshot as well. And now it's a 1v3. I would actually anticipate maybe even a save. You can't really save, though, because it's 11-3.
Yeah, GenG is out of options at this point, and the one option they have isn't good.
So Wardell, entry frag, first blood.
Joke's over. You're dead. Revealing area.
You could put me on repeat saying the exact same things for this entire match. Round after round. Just 2 clips. Me saying TSM first blood, numbers advantage, round win. It just feels like there's nothing that GenG can do, and again, now it's going to be down to just one player. This is a 1v5, and TSM's going on the hunt. They're not even going to try to plant, and that's it. 13-3 TSM.
So we'll bring up that scoreboard and let's see what we can see. And yeah, it's the disparity there, guys.